Hello everybody and welcome back to Angie B Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I was thinking that I might try and use up some of the bits that I've got, and I've kind of put them all in one tub. Some of them are still in little bags from when I've kind of die cut them round about the same time and things. Others I've had for a long time and never done anything with. Others got partially coloured or were die cut out of gel prints that I've done. Others are just die cuts. This is one that a friend gave me. It was from a Tim Holtz Bigs die before I had a machine that allowed me to cut Bigs dies. So she cut this for me and gave me several copies. I've also got some little wooden iCraft bits in here. I've got some of the very early on dies that I got. These ones I couldn't even tell you what the brand is, but I've had them a long time and not really used them. And the gates as well. So I've got all sorts in here. So what I thought I would do is find a page in my journal and add some bits to it and make it a complete page. So the page I've chosen is this. So this has got Distress Oxide spray on it, and it's the reverse print from when I have sprayed through a All and Create stencil. So this was the mop-up page, and it's the first page in one of my All and Create journals. And oh no, it's the second page. I tell a lie, it's the second page. But I tend not to start at the beginning of books, so quite often the early pages are missed. So that's what we're working in. This is what we're working with. We've got a yellow theme going on. My hand has automatically gone for here because I know in here I have some really cool stuff. So I'm going to see what I've got in here that I can use. Oh, this is a topper that I made. I'm going to use that on something else, but I really like that. That's just playing about with things. I love this tag. It's just a mop-up tag from gel printing. I'm going to use that, I think. Some circles. I think I might just use this bag. Here we have the contents of that little bag, and these are all die cuts that I've done at various times from various die sets. So some of these are, this one is from the Grunge range by Studio Light. This is one of Sheena Douglas's medicine bottles. There's a few of them floating around. I love this little magnifying glass, Sheena Douglas magnifying glass. We've got some feathers, which I think are probably Pretty Gets Gritty. We have a flower which is definitely Pretty Gets Gritty. The light bulbs are Pretty Gets Gritty, and the butterfly. This one I believe is a Tim Holtz one, but I wouldn't swear to it. It could be a Sheena one. Haven't got a clue where that one's from, but I think it's a fabulous splat, so I thought that might be a good one to use as well. Now, just because these are cut out in black and or white doesn't mean we have to use them in those colours, so we can colour them. Oh, I love this set. This is a book. I don't know if you can actually see the embossing on there. There you go. Isn't that embossing fab? I love it. Now this to me cries out science, so that's sciencey. This is sciencey. Oh look, scales. Come here. Oh, this one is from Clever Prints. It's one of Emma Blake's little edges. I like that. I want to use that one. You know what, there's a chance I might just use black. It's not a very high chance, but there is a chance. Right, get another bottle. Use these smaller bottles. Now there were in this set some flowers as well, but I don't know if I've die cut them. Oh, there's one. So these flowers kind of go with the bottles. Well, there's even a Bunsen burner in this set. How cool is that? I just love it. So that's a Sheena one. I like the idea of a coffee stain. Let's see. Right, let's see where we end up making a start with this. I'm just going to push all these off to the edge and see what we end up with what we've got here. So this is kind of how I craft. It's messy, it's untidy. I don't try and make everything pristine. I just fiddle about until I'm happy. Now I like this, and I like this, and I like them. Oh, I quite like them together. Now that's nice. I also like these. And what I like about these, if you look, there's actually a slit. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. You will when I stick this through it. There's a little slit there. So that can go through it and stick out the top, which I just think is really cool. But I want to colour the flower in. We need the coffee splat. It just has to be there. I think these books and scales and things are too big for this page. I quite like the idea of having some arrows. I did have a few arrows. Oh, light bulbs are quite good for sciencey stuff as well, aren't they? You could have a light bulb or two. There's another arrow. Oh, there's some more arrows. Well, another one and another one. Right, excuse my arm. Okay, so now we have a few bits that we know we want to work with. I'm just going to work with one of those. Let's see, where do we want these? Let's have a look. I don't think we want you. Sorry, little red pinky thingy. So you can start building these up wherever you want them. So if you want specific placement of the arrows, you can. These ones, I tend to do this a lot. I don't realise that I'm cutting through several pieces of paper, so I end up with several of these dies. Right, we've not used that one. I think this is a double one as well. Yes, it is. There we go. Right, so these are forming the corners. We've got a centrepiece here where we can put some form of sentiment. We've got some background going on. We have the flask with a flower coming out of it. So now we need to add some colour. What should we use? Right, I've picked out my Dina Wakley Media paints, but I'm also going to grab a brayer. This is a titchy tiny brayer and I absolutely love it. This came in the Craft Box UK box that Lynette Jasper did, who's from Pretty Gets Gritty, and it's fab. Right, so we've got orangey yellows going on and a bit of brown. We've got Penny, which is a shimmery paint, which I really, really like. We have Night, which is one of my all-time favourite Dina Wakley colours. It's a lovely deep, deep blue. I'm also thinking that Sedona would be nice in with it because it kind of is in keeping with the background. I'm ignoring the greens and blues on here at the minute. I'm not thinking they're what I want to do, but we shall see. They may well be. Right, I'm going to pop these off to one side for now. I'm going to keep these. I'm going to pop everything else off to one side because I want to colour these up. Now to colour them up, in fact, I'm going to tip those off the page and I'm going to find another page that happens to have some other stuff on it, doesn't matter, and I'm going to use that as my background. And I'm going to start adding some colour. So I'm going to do it because of the distressed look that's already present. I'm going to keep that distressed look going, so I'm not at this point in time anyway, I'm not using a paintbrush. That could change, who knows, but at the moment I'm not using a paintbrush. So I'm absolutely loving this little mini brayer. I want that on the top. So we're still getting good paint coverage there, aren't we? Even with the brayer. The reason that I'm doing it on a page in the journal is because then I'm not wasting the paint. So I can just roll it off. Okay, and a little bit of that orange. So I just need to make it a right mess already. That's what I like to see. Right, I think I need a bit of yellow. Here's a yellow. This is a lemon, which will come out. Come on, out you come. I know you're in there. I used you yesterday. There we go. So I'm layering up the different colours, and you can see we're starting to get a more light bulb effect. I'll bring that up to the camera so that you can see it. Quite like how that's looking. You can, I don't know whether it'll show up on the camera, but there's a bit of shimmer there as well. Right, so now we've got quite a bit of paint left, so let's add it onto our arrows. And again, I'm not being particular about which arrow gets which colour. I'm just putting colour onto the arrows. Oh look, another one of the doubled ups. I'm very, very skilled at that. Very skilled indeed. So here we have the arrows, and I'm going to introduce a little bit more of the orange. Just a little bit though, just here and there. What I like about the brayer is you can introduce little bits if you're just really, really careful putting it on, and instead of doing the usual roll right through it, you just roll through a little bit of it. You can see I'm not doing a full roll, I'm just touching it onto it, and then it's got different bits of the brayer have got the colour on. If I then roll this out, you can see there's lots of broken bits of colour that have come off the brayer. A solid roll still gives you bitty looks because I've not applied it as a solid colour. I did my first live back in the Crafting Together with All Brands group a little while ago, and it was, I think it'll be last week by the time this goes up, and I started doing my singing, and one of the members said, "Oh, I've missed your dum-de-dum." I thought, you're probably the only person. So I'm now adding in the blue because I just think that's going to tie in with the darkness that we've got. So you can see I'm just very, very lightly touching little bits of it. I'm not trying to get a lot of colour, but I'm doing it all onto this page so that this page is going to get any excess colour there. I'm going to take that off, and there's hardly any left now, and I'm just going to put, it's almost like a oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a glimpse of it. Let's get rid of some more of that. Okay, so we now have these. I do want to add some colour onto the black bits because at the minute black is a little bit on the dull side. So I think we need a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of orange going onto our coffee stain. Mainly the shimmer, because coffee's kind of got a browniness to it, and once it's got sticky it's going to have that shimmer, but we're getting some of the orange on as well. So again, I'm not doing the full colour, I'm just giving a hint of that colour, which is what I'm after. I want a little bit more actually. So to get that, I'm just pressing a little bit more firmly. I didn't add any more paint, I'm just pressing a little bit more firmly. Where I can see the paint is on the brayer, I'm applying it. Okay, so we also have the bottle. Again, the bottle, I'm actually thinking, yeah, I'm going to do it because it's annoying me. The stem actually got a little bit bent and it's annoying me, it doesn't look right. Now I am going to use a brush for this bit, And the reason is I want the bung of the bottle to be very definitely a different colour. So I'm doing it in the blue. I used to love putting bungs in bottles when I was at school. I don't know what it was, there was something very satisfying. They were always red bungs. They generally had the hole in the middle for the tube to come out of. But I used to absolutely love putting the bungs in the bottles. Just during my own experiments, I didn't go around just putting bungs in bottles for fun. I wasn't quite that weird. So again, I'm giving a hint of colour here. So I'm picking up a few different colours. I'm going to add in a little bit of the yellow just to brighten it up. There we go. You can also, when you're doing this, start to see a little bit more of the embossing, but I will bring that out. I think I'll probably use some gilding wax or something on it. I think your little bit of orange there will have you. Oh, I'm liking the way that's looking. It looks like a mixture being spun around. I need to get a little bit more paint out. We shall see. So now I'm just adding it in, little bits of the darkness, just to make it look more like a swirling liquid. Might not actually use the flowers, I think. Right, let's see where we're at. There we go. So I know that I want this stuck on this. I think I want to add a bit more colour to this that's more in keeping with the rest of it. I'm just going to use a little bit more of the penny, because we already got a little bit of shimmer on here from whatever I used. There's a hint of shimmeriness on there, but it's got blues in it as well. There's not enough of the brown, so I'm just going to use a little bit of penny and just add some in. So this is going in the opposite direction from what's already down there as well, which is just gives it a different look. I can also see from the gel press there's some patterning going on, and one of the things I do love about the gel press, and if you've seen any of my gel press videos you'll know that's my happy place, but it just gives you that unpredictable patterning. The brayer does to an extent, because it doesn't pick up, unless you're on something squishy, a brayer's not going to give you a totally clear line. It's not like a paint roller. It doesn't have the bristles that are going to give you a clear surface coverage. It's good for adding layers. Okay, I do love that little dinky thingamajig brayer. It's fabulous. Right, I'm just using some Crafty Devil's tacky glue. And I didn't think about getting a piece of card before I started. Oh, there's a piece of scrap paper. That will do. Spread this out a bit. And I'm going to use it to attach the X's, which are kind of like a torn page bit-ish. So I've got more of the penny coming down this side, and that was intentional, believe it or not. It's so when I put this on, when I manage to put it on straight, which at the minute I haven't, there will actually be more of the penny colour underneath it, so it's going to make it pop a little bit more. There we go. So you can see the penny behind that just makes it pop out. It's a nice vibrancy about it. Okay, I'm going to use no, I'm not. I'm going to use my glue tape pen thing. I rarely use these. The ones that I've got, I've had since I very first bought them many moons ago, and seeing as they moved the last time with me and they've moved this time with me, I think the time has come to actually use them. Right, so we have that there. We then have our coffee stain, which is going to be underneath other things, because things are going to get put on top of a coffee stain. It's not going to be a predominant item. So I'm going to pop that in that corner. Wish I could remember whose die that was. I absolutely love it. Okie doke. Right, in fact the bottle could sit, I'm getting glue everywhere now. The bottle could sit on top of the coffee stain. I'm going to use the tape pen for the bottle. If you haven't used a tape pen before, they're a really strange form of gluing. You can get, this one is just a normal, you get lines of tape coming out, it's double-sided tape. This is how much you have left and it transfers onto this one as it's emptied. You can tell which way up to do it on this one because it's got ridges where you put your finger to draw it along, so that's how you determine that. There are other tape pens. There's Gemini, not Gemini, what are they called? The people that do Gemini and like purple. The name's gone, but they do a spotty tape pen, which basically means you get tiny little dots. The advantage of that is if you were to wanting to stick something like this, you could actually run the tape pen over it, and yes, you would lose some dots onto your surface, but you wouldn't have overhangs. If I use this tape pen on here, I'm going to have overhangs of tape through the middle. With the dots, you don't. I haven't got any of that though, so I can't show you. Like I said, tape pens have never really been something that I use, but I've decided I need to start using things that I have. I think one of the dangers with crafting is you can very easily get absorbed in the latest trend, the latest cool thing to do, and forget what you've already got. And if anyone's anything like me, you've already got an awful lot. I have got absolutely shed loads of stuff and still feel the need to say, oh, I really need that. And I don't at all. I don't need it at all. Right, for this, I'm actually going to colour it up with some Pretty Whipped Mousse, which is fabulous stuff. Oops. In fact, I may have one of this colour open. No, it's the medal one, that one. That's the one. I picked up the wrong one. That's why it's not open. It was the wrong colour. So this medal colour is a really nice antique gold kind of colour. Now this you can use as a paint. You can use it as a gilding effect. You can use it as a highlighter. You can use it if you put it on like this and let it dry. You can use it for texture. It is really, really cool stuff. And the reason that I'm not putting my finger straight into the pot is because I've discovered the hard way that if you do that with some products, they go mouldy because of the oils off your finger. So my rule now is don't do it on any products because I don't want to waste my products. I spend money on them. I do not want to be wasting them. So my advice is don't stick your fingers in a pot. I'd done it for years, and then there was just a couple of tubs that I hadn't had very long suddenly went mouldy, and I was most perturbed. Yes, I want that there. Let's see if this is wet enough still. No, it might just be. It might just be. There we go. Oh yes. There we are. This is kind of coming together. Right. So here is one of the arrows. We're going to have you pointing up that way. I'm going to have the other straight arrow. What I might do with the arrows is put the straight ones opposite each other diagonally. I use way too much of this stuff when I do use it. I think that's probably why I stopped using it. So you can see there it's come over the edges, so you're having to remove it so it's not seen. Well, that works. Yeah. I'm not going to use it on the smaller bits because I just think it's too thick. So I'm just going to put little splodge of glue on, and pop you there. So I'm not trying to get these to run in a particular way, not trying to get them to circumnavigate the page. I'm just adding arrows on, and that is way too much glue. There we go. So I'm just building up layers really, and interest in the page. And I know I say the word interest a lot, but that's what it's about. It's about drawing your eye, or the person who's looking at your work, their eye in, and see what they can find in your page. So I think this is getting there as a page. It looks very orange, which I suppose that's the colour, main colour. Let me bring that light over slightly, see it now. You just see the light then. So we've got a very orange-ish page. I need a sentiment. I want a sentiment here, but I'm thinking I want something over here as well. Oh, you know what might be nice? Coming down over the top of the light bulb. Like a patterned light bulb fitting. Oh, I like that. Anyone think I like to go into IKEA and seeing that style of light bulb, light shade? I do. I love IKEA. Sadly, there's no IKEA in Orkney. It's a strange way of life up here. Everything's very different. I'm not on mainland Orkney. I'm another hour and a half further north than mainland Orkney. So there's even less. There's only 600 people on the whole island. So it's not very big really. So we can still see that there's a light bulb under there, here. We can't really see the centre filament, but I'm not worried about that. One of the things that I learned a long time ago is don't panic if you can't see the layers underneath. That's not what it's about. They're in the background, there to help support whatever you put on top. Right, so I need a sentiment. Found this sheet of sentiments that have previously been chopped up. So I'm going to, I'll stamp these. These ones I believe are dilution sentiments, although there is a possibility that they are indigo blue, but I think they're dilutions. The journey is the start of the adventure. If the young only knew, if the old only could. I'm pretty sure that sparkly shoes and a new tiara could I'm pretty sure that with sparkly shoes and a new tiara she could conquer the world. I think because of the fact I've just moved, I'm going to go with the adventure one. Now what I like about these is the fact that they are all individual little gems. So you have the choice then as to whether you want to chop them up to be individual, or whether you want them, and I think I want them individual on this, or whether you want them as one piece. Obviously if you're stamping direct onto a project, you're going to have them as one piece, but on something like this you can chop them up. And also the fact that they've not got any straight lines on them means you don't have to worry about chopping them in straight lines. They are wonky lines. They are designed to look a little bit wonky donkey. So I was out chatting in the garden with the new neighbours. The new neighbours all have 4 legs. Quite a lot of them have udders, and they make mooing noises, and they're absolutely fabulous. So I go out and have a little chat with them. I call it cow school. Just telling them about the difference between cows and humans. They seem to think that's entertaining. But they come over and have a chat with me anyway. Okay, it's in my head. The chatting is in my head, I admit it. They don't chat at all. I chat a lot. The journey is the start of the adventure. You could have adventure is the start of the journey. You could have it either way, couldn't you? but I like it that way, I think, for this one. Okay, so they need edging, so I'm just going to use my ink pad. This is the one that's to hand. I haven't yet sussed the placement of everything to have it to hand, so things are still a little bit out of reach when I need them, but it will happen. So yeah, the cows are absolutely fabulous. They've all got little babies, so there's lots of little baby cows in the field with their mummies, but they're getting, the babies are getting much braver. So when they were first there, they were nice little cute calves who wouldn't come over to the fence. Literally the garden backs onto the field with the cows in it. But now they come over and they're intrigued, they're nosy, they want to know what's happening. So they tend to come and have a nosy and a little sniff and a little lick of your hand as you stick it through the fence, and it just makes me happy. It really does. So if I'm feeling worried about anything, not that there's anything to worry about here, but if anything's bothering me, I can go and have a chat with the neighbours, and it's wonderful. It's something to calm me other than the sea. I mean, the sea is just fantastic. I haven't had a swim today and it feels very weird. I didn't manage to get in the water today. Work got in the way. But yeah, I'm going to be going in the water tomorrow, because I miss it when I don't go in. It's very, very cold, but very, very nice. It's been quite interesting learning about how best to warm up after you've been in the sea, in the freezing cold sea. We're not talking about in the Maldives where you come out and lay on a beach. We're talking about in Orkney. It's freezing. Quite a lot of people can't even put their toes in. So I feel quite proud that I actually go in and do proper swimming and everything. But I'm learning how to warm up, and the best thing is putting on a bobble hat. So I've been able to get my whole collection of bobble hats out, which is very exciting. I do love my bobble hat collection. That's the one I want. So I want a slightly thicker pen, so I've gone for the 0.8 millimetre. So when you see the numbers on the fine liner pens, they tend to range from 0.05, which is half a millimetre thick, so that's the finest one, and they generally go up to maybe 2 mil for fine liners. Sometimes you might get some that are a bit thicker. A lot of sets only go up to 1 mil, but the numbers refer to the size of the nib. So this is 0.8, so that nib is 0.8 millimetres. Okay, and today I'm just going to do my usual squiggly lines. Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. And one at the bottom. Squiggly, squiggle, squiggle. Now I need to get my scissors and chop this off. When you are chopping off, it's worth chopping from behind, because then you can see that you're not actually chopping too far. And I also want my white pen to add in some highlights. So I think we need some highlights around here, and also up here. I want some highlights on the leaves. So I'm not being overly cautious, I'm not worrying about light theory, I'm just adding in highlights just to add a little bit of depth to what I've drawn and what I've put on. And on here, the white pen is more than likely going to take on the colour of the paint underneath. So don't be surprised if that happens. it is normal. Whee. What you might decide to do is come in with something like a gold or a silver if you can't see the white, and that's absolutely fine as well. It's entirely personal choice as to what colour you come in with. Now I do also want to go around this. Because I've gone around the edge in black, I'm actually going to go around this entirely in the white pen, just missing where the words are and where the arrows are, and just highlight the edges. Whee! There we go. I think I quite like that. There's even some white space, which is something I don't often do. I quite like the way that looks. So yep, there you go, that one is done. It's a little bit different from my usual, but it's used up some of the scraps that I've had floating around for quite a while, and I'm rather pleased with it. Thanks very much for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.